You're watching Saturday Story Time, 23 January 2021 edition. Hi, welcome back to Saturday Story Time. Let's get started. First up, it's Mother Earth, and our friends in Indonesia suffered an earthquake last Friday, and the rainfall following that was making it difficult to search for survivors. This is the regional governor's office here. It's unclear how many people had perished in Friday's 6.2 magnitude earthquake. They fear that after 24 hours, most victims are already dead. And on Saturday, immediately following the earthquake, Semeru volcano erupts in Indonesia. It's not clear to me how close this is to the earthquake site from this story, but you can follow the link down below to my blog to watch the video of this volcano erupting. The best wishes to the folks in Indonesia. Our hearts and prayers go out. This story, Sheanderthal, informs that the first Neanderthal skull that was ever found belonged to a woman. And so when we talk about archaeology, we always think of Neanderthals as cavemen, but this story explores the life of female Neanderthals based on what we know about other human species and that of primates. Everything from birth, adolescence, teenage years, relationships, sexuality, and with a female's role in society is discussed here. It's a longer read, so you're going to want to follow the link to my blog and check this out, maybe over coffee on a Sunday morning. Okay, on to those amazing animals. First, we're going to talk about this dinosaur fossil find in Argentina. They believe it's the largest terrestrial animal known to science. These bone fragments were found in Neuquén province in the northwest Patagonia, belonging to a large specimen of Titanosaur. Titanosaurs are sauropods that lived during the Cretaceous era about 145 to 66 million years ago, and they've been discovered on all the continents around the world. These remains are not a complete skeleton, but based on this sample, they believe this particular specimen of Argentinosaurus patagotitan reached a weight of 60 tons and a length of over 31 meters or 102 feet. So Argentinosaurus is one of the largest known animals of all time. Cats like catnip, maybe because it protects them from mosquitoes. Sure, we see how cats behave when they are exposed to catnip, chewing the leaves, rubbing their heads and faces, rolling around on the ground. They get a real kick out of it. But the most active ingredient, nepetolactyl, let's see if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Nepetolactyl.
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 Okay, I think we got that. It provides cats with a chemical defense against mosquitoes. So this could explain why cats like catnip. This is research from the Iwate University in Japan, and it offers fresh sights into nepetolactyl and how it affects feline behavior and their opioid receptors. The fact that it deters mosquitoes is a stunning revelation. Continuing on with those amazing animals, here a dog in Turkey followed its owner to the hospital and waits outside the hospital every day for several days. The dog's name, Bonkuk, followed the ambulance to the hospital while it transported her owner. The daughter would collect the dog from the hospital, and the very next morning the dog would be back at the door of the hospital. She wouldn't duck in when the door opened, but she'd poke her head inside. Truly, Bonkuk is man's best friend, and she was reunited with her owner 6 days later. Okay, continuing on with those amazing animals and branching into because science, here, paralyzed mice walk again after breakthrough gene therapy. This is research conducted in Germany where The researchers use a designer protein to stimulate nerve cell regeneration. Researchers stimulated the paralyzed mice damaged spinal cord nerves to regenerate using a designer protein. The paralyzed rodents had lost mobility in both hind legs, but after receiving treatment began walking in just 2 to 3 weeks. This protein, hyperinterleukin 6, operates by taking a key feature of spinal cord injuries that produce disability, which damage the nerve fibers known as axons. This protein is a cytokine, but it's a designer protein. It's not found in nature. So they're going to continue researching this to see if it can also be beneficial to humans. So if you follow Saturday Storytime, you would have known about NASA's test of the Artemis rocket last Saturday. Unfortunately, it stopped abruptly. NASA's mega-sized moon rocket hit a snag during this critical test on Saturday, and this could delay the agency's effort to send astronauts to the moon. The rocket, called Space Launch System, is designed to eventually stand 365 feet tall. It's going to be one of the world's most powerful rockets. This SLS core stage is what they were testing. It was assembled and heavily strapped down at Stennis Space Center in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi on Saturday for a critical hot fire test. This was the first time they were going to fire all 4 of these powerful RS-25 engines. Here, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine tells reporters it was like an earthquake. It was a magnificent moment. This is the only rocket on the face of the planet capable of taking humans to the moon, firing all 4 RS-25 engines at the same time. But they were supposed to fire continuously for 8 minutes. But just 1 minute into the test, they suddenly shut down. So this particular rocket, Artemis 1, is set to fly an uncrewed test flight around the moon. They don't want to push the rocket so hard during testing that they would damage it. It's not a failure. During the hot fire, the engines were gimbaling or pivoting to imitate how they would direct the rocket's thrust during flight. This keeps the rocket going straight, essentially. But the hydraulic system that does this gimbaling on engine 2 exceeded NASA's limits for the test, and it shut the test down. Engine 4 lost a redundant sensor, and this led to registering a major component failure. NASA needs to redo this hot fire test before they go on. Congrats to Virgin's LauncherOne rocket. It reaches orbit for the first time and drops off some NASA satellites. I didn't even know LauncherOne was a thing. So you see here, the rocket is carried up to a high altitude and launched from an airplane. And this really overcomes the requirement for a whole lot of rocket fuel just to get the rocket off to the ground and up to that altitude. This is a customized Boeing 747 named Cosmic Girl. Once the rocket is released from the plane, the rocket ignites and powers itself to orbit. And that happened on Sunday. So there's a real private space race going on here. We talked last week about Blue Origin's successful booster and capsule test. So stay tuned. Here, SpaceX has bought 2 oil rigs, and they intend to convert them into offshore launch pads for Starship. Elon Musk has named the rigs Deimos and Phobos, which are the names of the 2 moons of Mars. The vessels measure 240 feet by 255 feet, and in theory, they'll be repurposed to support launching the Starship or perhaps return landing, given their reusable design. So they've been launching their Starship prototypes from land at the Boca Chica site, and they've only flown to lower altitudes so far. They also have the 2 drone ships that are autonomous floating landing pads for the Falcon 9 rocket boosters. SpaceX had posted a job ad looking for someone to oversee the development of these oil rigs. They've also posted another job opening for a resort development manager to turn this Boca Chica launching site into the 21st century spaceport. More SpaceX news. This Falcon 9 delivers 60 more Starlink satellites in the first launch of 2021. But this Falcon 9 is on its 8th flight, and it landed again. So this is a record for SpaceX reusability of Falcon 9. The Starlink constellation has almost 1,000 satellites now. This story is posted on MicrosoftNewsKids.com. 2 asteroids bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza to fly by the Earth. So if you're watching this and it's Sunday the 24th or later, at least we know we got past the first one. The first of the 2 asteroids to fly by our planet is known as 2020 PP, and it makes its closest approach to Earth on January 23rd at 6:26 a.m. It's going to be roughly 4.3 million miles from us, and that's 18 times the average distance between the Earth and the Moon. It's an estimated 1,200 feet in diameter, traveling around 18,700 miles per hour. The second of the 2 asteroids is named 468727 or 2010 JE87. It makes its closest approach on January 25th at 1:17 p.m. It measures up to 1,400 feet in diameter. It's going to come within 3.7 million miles of Earth, or just 15 times the Earth's moon distance. And this is traveling at a staggering velocity of 33,400 miles per hour. All right, keep your eyes on the skies. And closing out our space review here, this is the Mars Perseverance Rover Landing Toolkit. And we spoke about Mars Perseverance Rover taking off last August, and now it's just 30 days away from landing on Mars. Make sure to check this site out. You can register your name on a boarding pass that will be beamed to the Perseverance rover, so you'll have your name on Mars. You can find out where to watch, and there's also some educational resources available on the site. This is an interesting fact here. Landing on Mars is hard. It's a challenge. Only about 40% of the missions ever sent to Mars by any space agency have been successful. Perseverance is only the 5th NASA rover to attempt landing on Mars. So stay tuned. Good luck, NASA. Good luck, Perseverance. Make sure to look for the link in the description down below to my blog, where you're going to find the links to all the stories we're talking about today. All right, thank you for watching Saturday Storytime, and have a great week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.